silent images with the most excluded and disturbed children. We found it was really effective, and within those silent images we found that using Chaplin's tramp was the most effective. So this shows a kind of interrogation of why that is. Why do these kids respond to him and that kid?
This poem's called Looking for Signs.
Faded to almost nothing, they haunt the red brick walls, promise Persian rugs,
haberdashers,
ironmongers. The jaded allure of the ghost signs of Gresham lingers on the retina, conjuring up a host of phantom shoppers. They are transparent and almost erased by rain slanting through them like pencil drawings on parchment as they hunch up and go on the hunt for groceries with black umbrellas.
sick of bikes,
A fine array of hats. The poorer children from the streets run around their feet, doomed to be window shoppers on eternity's pages.
you can only see them as corner of the eye shadows.
Today's streetwise kids run through ancestral images unblinking, but in their clear eyes, spectres flicker best, and the ghosts of the hungry bairns of the boomtown are manifest.
Sometimes you meet the kids on street corners and gardens and you don't want to meet them.
It's called occasions for keeping stum.
Outside the takeaway on Parliament Road mill a pack of clockwork boys, full of intent and no direction. No sense of anything existing beyond the tight band of hills and the boiling river. A couple on bikes thought was coming, nudge the rest. I hold the small hand in mine a little tighter, pull her imperceptibly closer as we pass.
Oi, specky cunt! It's a good job you got a kid with you, or you'll be fucking dead.
Says one. The rest giggle. I bite my tongue, join the queue for fish and chips twice. Deep fried bravado and boredom, but real enough. They know, as I do, that a pack their shit met a blow up roughly mine on the far side of the carriageway yesterday afternoon. The paper wrapping my dinner tells how they were arguing by the post office before he turned to walk on, then slipped, spouting his 30-odd years under the curb. A katana turning his neck into a shish kebab.
It's all around the town, it's all around the town, it's all around the town, a hard ring of iron. But, luckily, me and Bob haven't been katanaed yet. Maybe threatened or walked out on. Not much though. We haven't been stabbed either.
Because usually they're quite nice when you get to meet them, just a little bit scared.
Usually afraid. And we found it very interesting working with the kids with this image of the tramp, and how when we see little clips into some writing on them, we start seeing them everywhere in their towns.
Summon them into their lives. This is called summoning the tramp.
Perhaps it's both sad and good to learn how easy it is for these kids to watch a little clip and then see him alive in colour in our towns.
Where no soup kitchens stand, but hunger reigns and spirits starve, as we try to find them a post-industrial sense of purpose now.
In Sunderland, where no more ships are spawned for migration, they tell me they see him in town in his big boots and his baggy suits.
Tripping up coppers with his cane,
Running through Camrex house,
leaping over drunks and smacking,
heading helter-skelter through the mall,
round the shopping trolley, down the escalator.
leaving the coppers in a pile.
The caption reads,
See you later. Meanwhile, in Middlesbrough, a street dodger with a shaven head and the nicotine-stained 10-year-old fingers, says he'd give him a bed on a mattress he knows is hidden up an alley, and he dreams of fun.
And when the streeties come, I'll show him all the best bail runs.
Each and every one.
Each and every one.
Have we summoned him?
Is there somebody here?
Is that it?
It is.
There it is. Hey, it's out for a walk. Or is it a stroll?
Or is it a promenade?
You got him. He's still a gentleman, even though he's a tramp.
His morning promenade.
Not yet, Charlie, but soon.
The future is accurate. Lurks in the next alley, wrapped in a bundle of rags beside garbage cans.
About to turn your morning stroll through grainy streets that refuse to change into a new beginning.
We know it's there. Know its shape. A young mother's shame whose eyes are drawn to the lustre of fame. We've seen her panic, know her loss, watch regret slap her powdered cheek. But this story must be bold, how we relish our privileged seats.
Soon, Charlie, but not yet. The future's patient.
First, you have to endear yourself to silent audiences with some sleight of hand. Flex your cane, strike a match on the sole of your outside shoe. Here you come,
Smoking a cigar stub in the early grimy light.
in the streets of the unwanted. The future is inevitable.
Before 9 o'clock, they clear their rooms of nighttime detritus because here,
You see,
as they drowse,
the objects they dream manifest themselves, spinning over their cots in a personalised cyclone.
an apple,
A pot doll,
a pocket watch,
an umbrella,
an angel's wing,
one ruby red slipper,
and upon waking,
fall
crack,
and shatter to litter the bedroom floor in scraps and
shards.
splinters.
Even now, Mrs. O'Hare paws at a dream waste from the window into Jedbury Street.
Sidestep it, Charlie, with a twitch of your tash.
Her childhood dreams smell of marsh gas.
Her nightmares could crush you flat.
Not yet, Charlie, but soon.
Not yet, Charlie, but soon.
Is it any good movie? Plot point one transforms the character's life. This is a way of having his life transformed that we've all been through.
What's he going to find? A bag of money?
I think I was as surprised as him. Do you think he's going to find a bag of money, ladies and gentlemen? Who votes for a bag of money? What about a bucket of crab? Do you think he'll find a bucket of
A
crab?
ransom note?
A ruby in an envelope with a half-written address?
What's he going to find?
Could very well be. What will he do?
What will he do?
What would you do?
Put
What
it-
did you do?
Put in someone's pram?
Yeah, he can't go get drunk like we would normally do when we know we've got a kid on the way. He's already here.
He can't afford to raise a child.
He's a tramp. He doesn't want to pay the new bedroom tax. Don't, he can't. He's supposed to be a hero.
Not Charlie.
No, Charlie, man. Don't do it. He's thinking about it, you know. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?
This is called fatherhood.
Maybe nervous.
When realisation sets in, the world begins to spin on a different axis. The centre of the universe shifts. Tomorrow
And tomorrow, and tomorrow.
and all the days after wear unfamiliar masks.
Lions, tigers, and lions, and tigers, and lions, and tigers, and lions. Oh no.
This is the moment when a man makes his choice. Stay,
Try,
fumble,
fail.
or run to hide behind a shroud of nonchalant denial. It's not my kid.
I want to do your ear test. Let's go and do it we can.
where the shadows of the slums sweat hard times, where there's nowhere to palm off this changeling the workhouse grinds its teeth.
Lions, tigers.
Opens its mouth wide, but his magpie room becomes a cuckoo's home.
Phew.
He didn't do it.
But now he's got to learn how to look after a baby.
Home from home. In the garret come cuckoo's nest. The air is flicker-filled with a taste of invention.
Learn the long, hard way.
Where the fallen angel plays at mending, tries his hand at mothering.
A cot of sackcloth and string held by a sentence of knots and nails hammered into the sloping wall.
A suitcase of souvenirs under the bed, odds and ends salvaged from paradise. A checklist of lessons.
Learn the long, hard way.
Leave that alone. I said take it out of your mouth. Careful. Slow down or you'll... Come back. Come on out of there. Let's have a look. It's all right. We'll put some cream on it before bed. Now, how did it happen? That's right. You're going to stop messing around. Hold my hand. Stay close.
Yesterday, the great waters receded, and God's creatures were let loose to roam.
Down here, we need to contain ourselves in soft bodies, eat and drink,
Know our place.
bleed and bruise, learn to cope with changing moods,
Listen to the baby cry.
make funny faces and underwater sounds,
Watch mould grow and putty that dry.
create new scams to make frayed ends meet.
Charlie himself had a very hard childhood, and in Lambeth, in South London, and his parents were music hall stars, and his father left his mother, and his mother fell on hard times sometimes, and she suffered from mental illness. And when she was ill, Charlie was often taken into an institution with his brother Sidney, and you can tell in his work that from that he learned how to transform the most simple things with his imagination, because I think in that situation you either give in or you learn to retreat into yourself and use your own resources. And it struck me reading his biography, a story when his mother came and took them out for a day. They had a wonderful day, and they ate a bag of cherries or a bowl of cherries, and then at the end of the day they had to go back in the institution. But she could make them feel like life was a party for a day. And I think you can feel that in his films too. And that's what this is about. Life is a bowl of cherries. This porridge is not a lump and mass of winter morning grey, my dear.
Let us sugar it with wishes and it'll taste of fresh cherries in summer.
Make our mouths curl to smiles, send juice dribbling down our chins.
These boots are not worn-out flop tongues, but receptacles of grace.
See them spin me,
Flip me.
dance me out of the arms of the law.
Function as flints with leather tongues. They call instructions for a brawl.
Put 'em up. This hat's not the castaway bowler of a city gent.
But a sign that no money doesn't mean a lack of class.
I'll tip it at a jaunty slant, but I'll never doff it to the toffs.
This fine cane is not a tramp's prop, but a gentleman's sword.
It can hook a stroke of luck from the down and out air. Lift a fence pank for a quick getaway.
Flick up the remnants of a fine cigar.
This hovel's a home. It's papered with love. The blanket makes a hammock-style cradle for a baby.
A gas meter fiddle and a porridge pan can keep the winter's wolves at bay.
This memory I'm screening is not of a young woman carted off, diseased, screaming and insane, but of a fine lady ripe for rescue.
Fallen on hard times.
Kind who'd leave her baby on a rich man's step. This picture's not my mother locked up and restrained,
Ranting lines from Revelations and the Book of Job.
but the day that she took us from that ringwormed kids' home, danced and sang in the park as we dipped out of time into a bowl of fine cherries.
And it's really amazing how when we've worked with kids, they've started really imagining Chaplin and their lives. This is really from the point of view of one kid that we both remembered who couldn't really read or write very much, but he really got into Charlie and he started doing drawings and then writing about him. But still, his life didn't turn out that great, because it wasn't that great. It's called Charlie! Je man. Hey, it would be good if the little tramp come back to life before I get sent down. He could hang about with me and the lads. Didn't like me then, because me new mates. We give him a swig of
White lightning!
oh, and he could show some wicked tricks with his mad hat and his bendy stick. And if any of them picked on me and called me
Faggot!
oh,
Skinny little rat!
he'd trip them up. Oh, poke him in the eye and do that funny wiggle with his inlet attached. And we could probably nick some lead off the church roof and get right away. He'd probably be able to do some smoke and blind the chopper cops while we all bailed. And then just me and him would be left, and I'd show him that big owl, the one that got out of small bloke's back. It lived between the station and the riverbank. We'll watch it catch a massive brown rat, and then he'd show me how to do that walk, and hop round the corners on one leg, so I could make all the viewers laugh and like me more. Then we'd sneak in when our lasses are all asleep, and our dad's out of it again on the front room floor.
Another reason the kids we work with really respond to Chaplin is because he knows how to put up a fight. He's the little guy who knows how to beat the big guy.
Because he knows the art of war. Once Goliath's on the scene, the crowd is in need of a small hero.
One who won't be bowed before the clunking fists and the muscles of steel.
But remember, it's your ass, not theirs, that's on the line.
Pacify, use your charm, check the paths of retreat.
When all else fails, your weaponry should be whatever lies in reach.
The stone for your sling may be
The brick wall,
a metal lamppost,
the wonky shop sign,
the space itself,
your eagle's eye,
the villain's weight,
and the intricacy of your footwork stand between you and disaster.
Dance, little Charlie, dance.
Dance, little Charlie, dance.
Your Vietnam,
Nicaragua,
Venezuela,
Sparta.
push Xerxes' giant army hordes into the tightest pass.
Select the perfect spot.
Remain in a state of calm.
Pick the choice pebble to fit your little palm. But sometimes the enemy is up against isn't the street bully, it's something much larger. This is called the proper care and attention. A bout of illness brings learned eyes behind a pair of clip-on spectacles and ears plugged into a stethoscope, and a set of awkward questions, and a mind that knows what's best, and the power to attend to the matter.
Care and proper attention.
Is a child catcher's wagon pig engine fueled by institution,
A silver badge and a baton.
impervious to the cupped hand that could catch a falling star.
Formal interference will salvage neglect.
Save the kid from a fate worse than frying pans and fire-blackened kettles. The service wears its uniform on the inside,
A silver badge and a baton.
lines its tongue with silver, providing structure and the proper ways and means. The system would lead him squealing into social statistics.
4 million children are living in poverty, and a staggering 1.4 million children are living in severe and persistent poverty in the UK.
More?
Latest available figures show that there are 32,700 children on child protection registers in the UK.
More?
35% of children in Middlesbrough parliamentary constituency are living in poverty.
More?
In some parts of the town, child poverty level is as high as 65%.
More?
I was interested in Charlie Chaplin a long time before we started working with him on projects. And this shot haunted me my whole life. It was in a book we had in our house called Life Goes to the Movies, Life magazine. But it wasn't Chaplin being funny or with custard pies. And I'd seen a lot of his films then, couldn't understand it. It's terrifying. And I started thinking about this shot, and I read about his childhood and how he was in and out of institutions. And I started really thinking about this quote I read in an interview with Marlon Brando, where he said, "Are you the greatest actor in the world?" And he said, "Don't be ridiculous. Charlie Chaplin was the greatest actor in the world that will ever be." And of course, if you look at this shot, you can see that's because sometimes, as Brando would like to, he wasn't acting at all. I started thinking about how he got this shot, how he tried to talk to his cameraman because he was in charge of everything on set, so he was his own director. It's called Get It in the Can. They need to restrain me in a violent struggle, till my eyes look like they could be falling through, like the thin pond ice I build these film fantasies on. You know, the kind of look that has the vastness of space just behind the eyes. Not so much disintegration, but the possibility of nothing at all. Nothing to make sense of. The look of the first walk through the workhouse gates. A boom-sodden daddy smashing his mistress in the face. Mum at the end of her tether, lifting up her skirts, mixing obscenities and prayers and a demon's curse. You know the look you get on your face when they drag her away in restraints, and then the children's welfare copper drops you off at another set of metal gates? You don't get it, mate. Never mind, just make sure I'm framed in the arms of the law and the state, and centre the shot. Try and get it first take, and I'll give it everything I've got.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Every show needs a sponsor, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen.
Your Chaplin toy is a true retro classic, as popular today as when it was first launched in 1915. Complete with removable bowler and cane, a replica silver dollar in his waistcoat pocket, a mini moustache, made of real human hair. The switch on his back releases a tear for injustice.
Your chaplain toy serves the tide of misfortunes with his name on the lip of every man, woman and child. He roller skates the sheer edge of drops from survival to success. He eats his own boots in times of dire need. He knows the desperate lure of the long pig. The suspicions of FBI agents assembling a dossier.
Warning! Your chaplain toy may one day metamorphosize into a giant, juicy piece of perfect chicken. If you are unable to secure employment in the land of dreams that has failed to establish any state of welfare, if you have already devoured your holy footwear, this poetry is a mirage. It will stick in your craw.
Take care! Your chaplain toy is driven by a raging libido and will sleep with over 2,000 women between clog dances and walking on his hands. He swings his cane like a foil, bites the bullet, ducks the punch, runs the gamut, and then walks off into the sunset with his realistically rumbling tummy.
Your chaplain toy is as relevant today as when it was first launched in 1915 by Louis Hamburg and Son Doll Company. His new movable arms and legs allow you to enact your own slapstick scenes of severe poverty and social exploitation and to plan your own strategies for survival.
Batteries not included. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Back to the show.
We can't get out of the grip of Louis Hamburg and Son Doll Company. Paid up our contract the next 5 years. You don't think the New York Literature Festival could have afforded us without an head, do you? And so, you see this picture of Chaplin just before he went to Hollywood and became famous. And you can see the hunger in his eyes. And you can understand how, if he didn't have that wonderful imagination like Charles Dickens did, he could have gone the other way.
Most of us could have gone the other way at some point.
You can all think of a point where you might have took the wrong path or you didn't get caught for something. And we often see meet kids at that point. And everyone knows the kids can be at that point. You know where your kids are tonight, do you?
Because it's a thin line.
And no one's saying it's easy to walk it straight.
It's thinner than the bendy cane the little tramp curves with his words.
Thinner than the grey gruel left over from the shabby genteel edge of poverty the boys grew up on.
With mother's fingers pricked red from seam sewing that didn't make the rent.
Thinner than the patched up red tights from her stage days he had to wear.
You've got in the playground nickname of Sir Francis Drake.
And it's a fine line between a joke and a prophecy, as he picked up a pirate's ransom for a comic waddle and an heroic grace.
Effecting rescues and escapes.
Famous man in the
The
world.
most famous man in the world, where the thin line between hungry, necessity and theft was not one to insist upon.
Unless you're one of those lucky bastards with the pockets full of silver and always have your belly full.
Try pontificate to him and you'll morph into a
Fat
villain with
bushy
whiskers sat on your moralising
bloody,
ass in the mud.
or you'll be shaking a
Chubby,
fist outside your broken window glass and calling for her
big-bellied,
copper.
as Charlie nimbly follows the kid, skipping around the street corner on one leg.
Placing his standing foot on the invisible, skinny line.
Brecht only spelt out what was tattooed on the tramp's two big soles. First bread,
Then morality.
still kids.
Naughty penny.
His cane writes another emaciated line in the dirt.
I have nothing with all this working with kids and getting to summon up the tramp and seeing all sorts of situations, me and Bob got a bit obsessed with him at one point, and we both got looking for him in our various neighbourhoods. Tracking the tramp.
Oh, man. I've seen him. I've seen him now. Bit of breeze on the back of the neck. It'll be a cold night out on the streets. Northern seas are unforgiving places for anyone without a nest. How quickly they strip you down, thin you out, turn you into a ghost, flitting between spaces, through snatches of lives, conversations that lack solidity.
British engines!
Guess they make British engines.
Sweet. Where will he be?
Where will he be? I trace his steps along walkways, over footbridges that girdle roads, past closed doors, through reflections of rooftops in mirrored windows, stranded outside when everything is heading for an inside. Where in hell could he be? Where in hell could he be? Wrapped in a swaddle of stray cloud, round the back of that old church, on the far side of the flyover. Maybe. Where have you seen him?
I looked under the underpass near the Riverside Stadium.
I checked the old train graveyard.
I was looking down the old church ruins down St Hilda's. There's a few tramps down there, but it wasn't him. Looked down the river, just saw a few bodies getting pulled out. Hey, Gary! Up on that roof!
Could be, looks like it could be any old tramp line.
What if it's just a daft old tramp on the roof line? Might not be it.
It looks like he's doing some of Hague Road, though.
If he's doing some heroic, it's definitely him. Let's have a watch. Oh, yes, look at that. That looks like heroic, doesn't it? You wouldn't do that, would you? Just for a fact. Oh no, it seems to me, ladies and gentlemen, must be a plot point 2 in any movie where it's got a spin in the finale and the hero has got to rescue the victim, as he always does. You've got to
cut through the chains. All street urchins learn
the basics of parkour.
the cat,
Leap,
the con,
vault,
the landing, roar. The apple dodge, the iron mind tuned to the
opening,
of the unrestrained
path,
so the little tramp
totters,
the long reach
for
tires,
flat race across rooftops,
the laws of retrieval
push,
you to the
edge,
where you're likely to hatch.
into other,
Handstander,
clog dancer,
vaudeville clown,
superhero,
cat burglar,
scavenger,
vagabond, by tooth skin and thin ice, by tooth skin and thin ice, by tooth skin and thin ice. I'm running on his nerve. Charlie,
looks
the kid
from the cultures,
of care for another
pinklings
day
on the
make.
And there's another message to these poems, ladies and gentlemen, a non-moral message known both by Charlie and the kids we work with. When you've got nothing,
Then you better get rhythm.
cause steps 2, 3 and 4 need to move you out of the jaws of injustice and the long arm of the law.
And you'll need a 2-step shuffle to keep you dodging, then dancing till you put the villain on the floor.
Free running over rooftops to beat the Keystone Cops is fraught with the chance of a sudden nasty fall.
And if your best leap fails to keep them cheering in the dark in this game, you'll shrink to nothing at all.
Because it's hard to be responsible and sneaky supple too, if you want to rock a cradle and rustle up some scran.
You better learn all the steps of the streetwise hustle and the ins and outs of every dodgy scam.
You better be ready to steal every smart move. Danlino,
Little Titch,
Uncle Fred Carmondall,
do the vaudeville shuffle.
the burlesque grotesque.
Translate into black and white the gaudy music hall.
You can make a broom into a lady and bricks into fists. Do roller skating pirouettes or angel winged flights.
Bread rolls become can-can girls at the flick of your wrists. You play David to Goliath in the worst street fight.
Put 'em up. Beat out tattoos and clumpy boots like an old clog dance. Never lose your style when you haven't got a hope.
Not everyone can do it, but it's worth a fighter's chance.
One beat can make a tragedy into a fine romance. Get the beat going on. You can use a nonsense song to waltz the girl with a spark into your starving arms.
Into the celluloid sunset where no one gets too old, or insane,
Or too sane.
or impervious to your charms.
Hop and skip and jump and
Hop
tumble
and skip
roll.
and jump and tumble and roll.
Hop and skip and
Hop
jump
and skip
and
and
tumble
jump
and
and tumble and
roll.
roll.
Never let the fat cats get you in a stranglehold.
Their rules and regulations will wither your soul, but a child will survive.
When they put you in the hole.
A child will survive.
When they put you in the hole.
Start thinking a lot about it. We spend a lot of our time going and working with kids, and there's some brilliant people who work with them, teachers, social workers, everything, but there's always someone there telling them to grow up, act your age, be more mature. And then we spend the rest of our time working with adults who want to regain their creativity, and we spend all our time saying, you've got to find the child, let him back out again. This is called holding on to the kid. You should let go of the child. Put away all that is free and wild. Shake yourself up to feed the institution.
Knuckle down, knucklehead!
To respectable prostitution. Forget finger paints.
The wrong-coloured horse!
Rearrange your life via disciplined routine.
Attend our next anger management course.
Let go. Lock away the child. Clean up his muck. Keep him still and quiet.
Oh, shut the little bastard up.
But listen, Your Honour, I can't hand him over. I need shifts of mood, a questioning mind, the right to get it wrong and a hunger for fun. Weren't it great for us to dance lightly through? The face of a lost mother peeled tightly on a treasured picture in her fake golden locket.
Beside other crumbs kept in a ragged pocket.
Fleetness of foot when it seems the game is up. Fill my empty plate, top up my cup. So when you say,
This is selfish, we know what's best.
remember, I know your whole roll call of loveless tests, regiments,
Routine,
punishments in care,
freezing water in the face in a well-ordered place.
making beds as neat as any cold-eyed stare, where nobody wins because nobody dares.
Nobody wins because nobody dares.
Because nobody dares. Grim faces and grey rules to shrink him right down. Gantries of authority from which to hang the clown. Now, I dance with the kid since I cut his dangling rope.
Put a smile on his face and sing him songs of hope.
I won't abandon the lost boy who helped make me whole. His winged imaginings spark freedoms in my soul.
This poem's called After the Credits Roll. It's about at the end of the film when the boy he's raised is reunited with mother, and how Charlie feels. He just walks off into the sunset as he does at the end of all of his films. And like we often do at the end of projects where we've made a real connection with some young people and then funding ends and we just have to move on. But also about a certain age when you have to say, let go of your own kids to some degree. The difficulty to leave the end of the film. When the child is reunited with mother. When the open road is beckoning again. Way out there where tiny dust devils whirl. And the stinks of slums in high-rise shadows are swallowed by scents from hedgerows. And the tramp pockets the monument of parenthood. And milk molar wrapped in a handkerchief hooked from a line. A little stone of sweet melancholy, chipped from the curve of a vagrant moon, that wandered the city as king of the streets. He taught the kid how cats will look at kings, how heaven's laws were meant to be bent, how seraphim fall if they singe their wings. Some simple strategies to survive the crash, and that's as much as he could hope to do. Now, the crossroads is full of tramp light, stilled by the weight of partial possibility, where his buller's brain rubs the hillside, where trains rush through a hole in his shoe. A crow twitches like a moustache on a branch. The milk tooth is worth its weight in gold, and chalk on the tree says which way to go.
And this was Hollywood at the end of our show, with that sweet, beautiful poem. But it's not Hollywood. And all those kids are still living out there. And the kid I talked about earlier, really connected to Chaplin, well, he's in prison now. And this is about him and all those kids. The ones we can't do for a bit, but maybe still don't make it because there's too much against them. It's just called The Hungry Ones. You hook onto him in a hooded huddle outside the fishy, at the edge of the louder crowd. Watch from the flick of a fin, the quiet pike with a bite. Catch the restless shifting of his eyes. Don't know if it's your paper chips or you.
He wants to devour or your child.
The pale of his skin,
Burn of his eye.
scans through centuries.
Who is the hungry boy? What does he need to feed on?
In children's centres,
Bernardo's,
last-ditch community rooms,
before reform
and
schools.
the inevitable clinky moves constantly. Feels through his fingers.
Pokes,
Caresses.
strokes bamboo screens,
Cold walls.
tabletops.
Plant pots. Now he's become octopus boy. All tentacles desperate to suck on. Make himself real. Give him a snack. A fold of paper aeroplanes on which to scrawl.
Fuck the place!
Who is the hungry boy?
What do we have that he needs?
His screwed up eyes stretched moon calf wide, fixed for a while on the TV screen as the hungry tramp makes his morning forages. He'd like to keep the baby too.
Make a nest in his mouldy old wardrobe,
They could both hide in there.
safe from the streets full of sharks.
Familiar strangers in the dark. He knows the look in Charlie's celluloid jellies as he's pulled apart by cold charity and blind justice. Though he eludes well-fed henchmen well enough with slimmed-down dance steps.
Who was that hungry boy? Would love be enough to fill him up?
Flash forward in this plot. He's looming blank and fish-faced from the shallows of the evening rag. He tried to swallow his own name, misspelt 1,000 times on the old graveyard walls. During reform school time, he chewed on the methods of crime. He forgot the little moustache man when he swung the iron bar with the full force of famine on the night guard's skull. Who is that hungry boy? Who forgot to feed him?
Who is that hungry boy? Who forgot to feed him?
Who is that hungry boy?
Not I, said the cat. Not I, said the dog.
Who is the hungry boy?
Did you
Did you
forget
to feed him?